All right. Well, I guess we'll just start off with, man. How's quarantine treating you, and how's training and everything going?
Quarantine's it's a bit slowly changing now. The face of it. At first, it was I'll play some video games for a couple of weeks and hang out and rest, and then slowly it's becoming longer and longer. So it's continuously changing how it affects. Training's been, I mean, it's what it is. I've been trying to the people at the gym at Fit Plus there, they do some video calls every day, every other day, doing some training. So I've been trying to hop in recently. They moved the times around, so I was able to join in there. Some Muay Thai training and stuff like that. Just kind of getting moving and throwing some combos. Get the hips moving a little stiff, a little more
Yeah.
stiff than I used to be. Yeah.
Yeah. How's that? I mean, have you been out to the parks? Obviously, they just recently lifted that ban there.
I haven't. No. Where I work and currently also live, we live on I have a lake right, pretty much up to ourselves, right in front of me, with a big 400-acre property. So, in terms of going out and hiking and trails, we have our own private property here. So, I've been blessed for that, and haven't
Yeah.
had to worry about being cooped up inside a house. So that's been nice.
Yeah, I'm like right in Dartmouth. Like I'm in Creighton Park,
Yeah.
so
Okay. Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I go outside and I'm practically breathing in coronavirus, so
Yeah.
that kind of sucks. But yeah, limited here too. Just kind of trying to do whatever I can to stay active. Obviously, I don't compete or anything like that, but
Mm.
definitely don't like being. I don't play video games, so get bored really
Yeah,
easily.
yeah. I did not play a lot of video games up until a couple weeks ago, and that has changed. Maybe not all for the positive, but definitely could be training a little more than I am right now.
What's I mean, I just watched your last fight right before this. I wanted to kind of get an idea of what your fight style is like and whatnot and how the fight went. What was your take of the fight? How do you assess it? Obviously, it was your
Uh,
first MMA fight.
Yeah. I think I have a Muay Thai fight and I had the MMA
Yeah,
fight, and after both those fights, it's like I won both those fights by TKO. The cut's a whole other thing
yeah,
for this last fight, but I mean, looking back at both those fights, it's like just like knowing that like one like I know I'm a better fighter than that. Like there's so much to learn just from one fight. Just be like you're like you can do better than that, but at the same time like doing well for like the first time in the cage. When I first started training, Scott McLean, our head coach, he's like, people look great on the pads, they're doing combos looking really good, then they spar and it all goes away and they look awful, and then they start getting really good at sparring, and then they hop in the cage and start fighting and then it all goes away again. So just like always trying to build that back up. For the fight there with John, like, I mean, John brought a lot more than I think I thought he was going to bring to that fight. Like we both came out swinging, and we stood toe to toe in the pocket and just swung at each other. So it was a great fight. It was a ton of fun. John was a
yeah,
great guy to hop in there with. So yeah,
yeah. That first round was fireworks.
yeah,
You got
I
hit. You hit him back.
yeah, I
Like
tried to count. Yeah, I tried to count the strike count on the first, and I think for myself alone, I think it was over 100 strikes thrown. I'm not sure how much landed, but over 100, I think, just on my end. And then I didn't even get a chance to count. Like it was a lot we were throwing.
yeah,
So
you got tagged there. Did that really hurt, or were you out, or like what?
no,
How not even?
it's hard. Like it was super early. The first, like, I don't know, like minute 30 seconds of the fight. If I was to be honest, like I think it just kind of like hit me off balance a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't remember being hurt or rocked. Looking back, like I know I just kept going forward at that point. Like my mind was set on one thing, and that was forward pressure. So even getting hit, my brain didn't even like register that. Just like, nope, keep going forwards. See what happens next. So
yeah. What about the? How do you feel about the cut? I mean, I obviously I knew the result of the fight before I watched it, and I was like, yeah. It was. I mean, the eyebrow cut was bad, but I think obviously if that's a pro fight, I don't think they call it, but because it's an
yeah,
amateur fight. Um, but was it bittersweet? Obviously, I'm sure you would have rather just put him away or TKO,
yeah.
submission or something. But
Yeah, oh, yeah. I mean, yeah. Obviously, like you always want like that big glorious finish. Like that's what everyone dreams of, right? But like in terms of the cut, like so I'm wearing my glasses right now. I wasn't really wearing anything in the cage, so I couldn't really see what was happening. Like I knew that there was a cut, but I couldn't see how bad it was from where I was or anything like that. Also, still just in like that first fight kind of debut, like all like journaling through the roof, so kind of hard to kind of focus. But I mean, yeah, it was an amateur fight. We're both 1-1 or 0-0 or 1-1 now. So I mean, I understand. But I mean, like we were both ready to keep fighting. Like so, I don't feel bad. Like I'll take the win. Like we both put the work in. Like I'll take the win. I feel like I was doing very well. Like the commentators said the same. Like I was taking the first round probably just by a hair. So I felt good about it. But yeah. If it was a pro fight, we definitely would have kept that cut. Wouldn't have stopped them at all.
Yeah. How'd you find with Fight League Atlantic? How'd you find them as an organization?
I mean, it was their first kind of rodeo, so they were awesome. There's obviously a few kinks that kind of come with that. Like there is some weird pacing issues. Like we were the first fight of the night, and like just in terms of like John went out, there was no music, like just some small things like that. Like, but nothing like huge. Like they were awesome. Like they're also. We had a snowstorm, like basically like right before the fight, and then like the day after the fight as well. So like they're trying to like get stuff in, like flights were canceled all over the Maritimes. So they were like trying to get everything organized, and I think they did a great job. Like it was great working with those guys. Like I was really happy to be on that promotion. Like that first fight of that night that we got to break that cage in was pretty fun.
How was it competing in Truro? I mean, I guess for most people who watch this, they have no idea what Truro is, but there's a population that's it's not a very big it doesn't have a big population, is the best way to put it. But fortunately, it's not too far from Dartmouth, so I'm sure you had lots of family and friends there.
Yeah, so that's actually I did a Muay Thai fight. That was my like fighting debut. It was back in November. So I went up and I fought in Dalhousie, New Brunswick, which if you're from the area, power to you. My grandmother's from there, but it's much smaller than Truro, and it was like 6 hours away. Also like a snowstorm like the day of the fight. Like me in my corner, we drove up like the day before. Like I was the only one who could drive because I drive stick and the other guys couldn't drive. But I was cutting weight and stuff, and I was the only one driving. And so that was like definitely a much different experience. Like Truro was like in my backyard comparatively, right? So actually I had a few friends come for my Muay Thai fight. For my MMA fight though, I had a ton of people. Ton of support. People come up, and it was really fun. Like there's that little bit of extra pressure too. It's like, like are these people all going to come here and watch me get knocked out in 4 seconds, or am I going to be able to put a show on for them at least? So I think either way they win. Like they get to see me humbled, or they get to see me win. So my friends will be happy either way. But yeah, it was great that my parents came up. Like my poor mother watched me fight, but that's a whole other thing.
How's it like competing at Fit Plus? I don't train frequently, but I did some Jiu Jitsu at Forza. Which is just down the road. But
my parents, just it's 4 minutes from my parents, like just around the corner.
What's it like at Fit Plus? I mean, the guys there. I mean, TJ Grant goes to Fit Plus.
That's where he trained for a long time. Yeah, that's where he came up. Fit Plus. I think right now, especially, like it feels like things are happening there, man. I mean, I guess before all this happened, but like we had lots of we had fights, fighters constantly getting ready for fights, like kind of coming into this year. Like when I started a year and a half ago now, like there was like they just started to kind of feel like they're just kind of ramp up some of the MMA programming, like some more classes and stuff. So. I'm like probably one of the freshest fighters there, so like just really lucky to be under all these awesome fighters like Brad Sullivan and Kyle. Like they're just like lots of like just awesome fighters to be able to train alongside, and some of these pro guys coming into TKO and stuff like that. So it's a really good atmosphere. And we all train hard, and we all push each other. Especially myself, I always have to kind of fight a little harder to not get my butt kicked every day. So it's a great spot to train.
What ultimately got you into the sport? Like, what got you into martial arts and MMA?
That's a great question. It's hard to say a little bit. I think for those people who don't train, it's a little hard to kind of understand like why we like train and why fight. I started training. I did karate. Actually, it was like kind of my introduction to martial arts. I did it for 4 or 5 years through junior high and high school. We didn't do a lot of like we did some sparring and stuff like that, but didn't do a lot. I mean, I loved it. It was awesome. And then I kind of stopped doing that coming into end of high school, did some rugby and some other sports. But then just always wanted to fight and train again. Just never really had the time or the schedule. But eventually, one of my friends did a couple free trials of Fit Plus, so I was like, I'll go check it out. And then I went for one trial, and then the next day I got like a year membership, and I haven't stopped going. So just like I just like missed it so much, and there's something about it, like just the way it pushes your body and in your mind, like all just together. There's nothing fancy about it. I kind of like if you compare it to something like hockey, there's no like stick handling or anything fancy like that. It's just what you can do one-on-one against somebody else. It's a hard thing to explain.
Yeah, I mean, I do a little bit of jiu-jitsu. Work schedule kind of makes it complicated now, especially at Forza, because they don't have a, they had their timing doesn't really work out for me. Like the guys there and everything, it's just you miss it. You miss just rolling on the mat, and even if you get choked out 10 times in a practice, the one time you choke someone else out, it feels great. And it's humbling when you like first time I went, I got thrown around, and then second time I got submitted by 12 or 13-year-old girl. Wasn't the nicest feeling, but motivated me to get back in there. And it's awesome when you can submit someone twice your size. Not so much fun when you get submitted by someone half your size.
Yeah, it's all part of the game.
Yeah. What's the ultimate dream in MMA? Like, how far do you want to go? Is this something you want to do long term? You want to go pro? What is the dream?
Well, I guess it depends if you ask me or my fiance. She depends the amount of damage I take, I guess, is one. But I mean, yeah, I love to ride the wave, like and head into something pro. Like I know I'm a good distance away for something like that. There's a lot of work between here and there. But I mean, that would be an awesome goal. I mean, I think that's the first step is, get a pro fight, keep training, and just work hard and train alongside the guys. I think there's a really great opportunity and great avenue at Fit Plus with the guys we train to kind of head into that for sure. We've put the work in and commit to it. I guess I should do some push-ups after this, but yeah, I mean, I think take it as far as I can. Really, and work hard at it. If when the big three comes calling, that's a great day. But like, I won't be heartbroken. I'm not gonna put my whole life on pause to pursue it. But it's definitely part of my life, and it's something I'll continue to kind of follow as well.
Yeah, I'm assuming you work outside of MMA and everything. So. Yeah,
full-time job. Actually, I have to drive. It's the gym is not close to where I work. I have to drive between 45 minutes to an hour and a half sometimes to get to the gym every day, every 4 or 5 times a week or whatever. So it's can be a little tricky.
Yeah. Who's your favorite fighter? Like current fighter?
That's a good question. I guess when I'm training, I'm always trying to find someone like I can watch that kind of like relates a little to like what I'm doing. Like I like Cowboy. Cowboy's a great fighter. It was really sad, kind of the McGregor fight, but that was kind of hard to like. Oh, Cowboy's the best fighter, but he got knocked out in 30 seconds last time.
Yeah, Cowboy's my favorite fighter too. So.
Yeah, he's a great fighter. So I'm also just still like hopping into kind of the MMA world, and like I watched UFC back when it was like Chuck Liddell and Forrest Griffin, like in junior high or whatever, or high school. But now I'm just getting back into it, so trying to step back into the world of watching the sport as well. So Adesanya is also, I love Adesanya. He's a really fun fighter to watch. Also, if you ignore the last fight that he was in, is a really fun fighter to watch.
Yeah. What's your prediction for this weekend? I think this is probably going to be the most exciting fight possibly in years. I've never looked forward to a fight so much in my life. Probably because I've been deprived of fights for so long.
Yes.
What's your prediction for this weekend? And I guess what's your take on both of those guys?
I mean, I think if I want Tony to take it, because then that still kind of lets Tony and Khabib kind of preserves that train a little bit. If Tony gets taken down this weekend, I think it might derail that train a little bit more. After 4 or 5 times it's already been derailed. But I haven't watched a lot of Gaethje, so I'm not too sure what to see from him. I'm probably going to do some watch some videos this week. This kind of get my head in the space.
Yeah, it's pretty much your round, like that one round of your first fight. It's like that every round he fights.
Okay, all right, I know what I like him already.
He's a G1 wrestler, but he doesn't wrestle. It's just full speed ahead, tuck his chin down, and start swinging. He got a lot of power. It's fun. It's going to be a fun fight, and we've been deprived of fights for so long, so I can't wait for it.
Yeah. I've been watching a lot of old stuff right now. It's all over. Like UFC keeps posting free fights. I'm like, yes, please, yes, please. So it's just been fun.
When are you looking to get back in there? Obviously, things are on hold, especially here in Nova Scotia. You don't really know what's available. But are you looking to get back in there before the end of the year? Or are you just gonna work and just kind of wait it out? What's the plan?
Like back in the cage?
Yeah, or any sort of combat, I guess.
I get the ring or the cage. I might end up in the ring again before I end up in the cage. I really like to work on my grappling and kind of really flush that out a little bit more. And but I mean, I'm still pretty happy with where it is right now. But for the amount of time I've been training and everything, I mean, it's hard to say. Like, it would have been nice to get another fight in like the spring or maybe the fall, but now that no one's fighting until at least the fall, likely, it'd be great to get back in the cage this year, but it'd be interesting to see where it all falls. Kind of puts a huge monkey wrench in everybody's plans. We had guys lined up. I think it was like April, man. We had like guys in March like lined up for so many fights, like 3 or 4 or 5 of them were all fighting, and it all got canceled. So we'll see who's ready and who's not, and what kind of the landscape looks like. But I mean, it'd be great to be back and fight twice in the year. I guess it kind of sucked to only have to fight once this year in February. So it'd be great to get back in some capacity.
Who are your main training partners, and like who are some of the guys at the gym that you think can like propel themselves or make it or?
So the main people like that we train with, we call this like the fight church. We are a lot of our hard MMA sparring is Sunday morning. We get up at like 9:30, something like that, and we train for a good hour and a half. And we do like 15 rounds, man. Like, so that's the fight church crew. There's actually like 3 of us fought on the FLA card, so we had a really good showing there for that first FLA one. So it's myself, Zach Garcia. He was supposed to fight when it all got canceled as well. He's a really fun fighter to watch. I'm not sure if you've watched his fight on FLA. He has spear tackles the guy in the cage, and they put a dent in it. And that's pretty fun. And then they throw him across. Isaiah Bernard, he fought a FLA one as well. Luke de St. Croix, Kyle Blinkhorn, Brad Sullivan, Khalifa Hamilton. He was supposed to be fighting as well. Recently, he went up and did some Muay Thai Canada national stuff. Carmen, she's an awesome Muay Thai fighter at the gym as well. So I'm probably missing some folks, but those are kind of the main crew there that we get up to. Andrew Thomas. He was supposed to make his TKO debut pretty soon, I think, as well.
How was the transition? You had karate background and you did some Muay Thai. What was the transition like to Jiu Jitsu?
Sorry, I don't think Andrew's last name's Thomas. I might get that wrong. For it's different. It's like, especially I think karate and Muay Thai, when you start looking at it, I mean, I train them at very different times, but like the concepts between the two are almost like polar opposites. Yeah. You know, Muay Thai is it's high, it's tight, it's fast, and it's violent. And then karate's kind of longer, like, you know, that Wonder Boy, big, deep stance, like those big kicks, the whole like mentality of like one punch is all you need, like kind of setting that all up, versus Muay Thai where it's like combinations and elbows. And and knees and stuff. So it was really different hopping in. Like you really have to kind of like adjust your fight style and your stance. And then MMA is a whole other fight stance and style, like protecting and grappling. But so that was a big difference. Karate gave me an awesome foundation though, just like in terms of like how to throw a punch, like where does your striking, your power come from, like fight stance and athletic stance. We actually did some grappling at our dojo when I trained, so that gave me a bit of a foundation for jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu is a whole other ball game too, especially like we do, I mean, for MMA, and then if we do a lot of no gi stuff, and then we do gi stuff. Those are almost two different worlds as well. So always trying to like adjust back and forth, and it's you really got to be flexible and elastic when you're training so many different things.
Yeah, I can't stand gi. I'm not. I like no gi. I find it a lot easier. I don't like it when people grab the collar. It's really easy to choke me, so I don't. I'm not a fan.
That's my excuse too. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not definitely not a fan of gi. And I guess like last question here is some non-MMA stuff. What do you do? What are you doing now? Like in your free time? You mentioned video games earlier. Is there any shows or anything on there that you're entertaining yourself with?
I mean, I've been playing I'm not 14, but I've been playing a lot of Fortnite. So it's a lot of my friends, like everyone's locked at home, right? So games like Fortnite or like Warzone, where lots of people can play from different platforms, like just getting online, talking to people, staying connected as much as we can, being social. That's really cool. I watch, what was I watching? Watching Tales from the Loop on Amazon Prime. That was pretty cool. A bit of a sci-fi thing. Getting outside and just doing some walks. That's when it's nice out. It's been terrible weather in Nova Scotia the past couple of weeks. So
yeah, it's been like back and forth. Like it'll be like yesterday it was ridiculously warm, and then today don't want to leave the house.
It's awful. Yeah. Wednesday might be nice too, but it's finding different ways pretty much to stay connected with people. But also, see, I'm an extreme extrovert, like all the way. So not being able to see people, it's really drains my motivation and my energy. So it's trying to find ways to connect like that have been huge.
All right, man. I appreciate you taking the time, man. It was good to get to know you, and definitely nice to speak to someone from Dartmouth. I've been speaking to fighters from all over the U.S., so kind of nice to speak to someone from nearby.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, thanks for talking to me.
All right, man. All the best.
Yes, sir.